So for the critical race theory, I wanted to look at it through the lens of the horror genre, as the horror genre has tackled a lot of issues through what's represented both in the horror in the film, as well as the subverted message, the underlying message that the film tries to tell you. You may or may not always pick it up, but there's something someone will always pick up, which is one of the great things about the horror genre. But I do believe that issues of racism and black characters in films, especially in horror films, was a topic that's always been talked about. And the film I wanted to cover, one of the films, was the 1968 Night of the Living Dead by George Romero. And the lead was a black man, Dwayne Jones. And we follow him as he deals with zombies while also meeting other supporting characters who are all white, and he's the only black man pretty much the entire movie. And what I wanted to highlight from that film was the ending, which, spoiler alert, Dwayne Jones survives the zombie attack on the farm only to be killed by a white mob uh, who mistake him for a zombie, and they just add his body to a burning pile, and that's how the film ends, just on his death and the burning of his corpse. It was also the same year that MLK died, so it really touched on the issue with civil rights and just the violence towards African Americans at that time, as well. It goes a little bit into the Cold War kind of scare, but I don't want to go over that. But I wanted to highlight the African American issue that it wanted to tackle, where the lynch mob pretty much kills him. Uh, Even though they see that he's a human, they still shoot and kill him, and it leaves rightfully so, leaves a nasty taste in the audience's mouth as it ends. But that film was pretty big because of the casting of Black lead, which was pretty uncommon, especially in horror movies. And not only casting him in the lead, but having him survive for the majority of the film, and him being Dwayne Jones being the sane person out of everyone. And the other horror film I wanted to look through was the 1992 Candyman, starring Tony Todd. He's the film's antagonist, but the movie focuses a lot on him throughout the its runtime. And that movie touched on issues of uh, gentrification, because in the film it takes place in a multi-complex condo apartment. I don't know the correct term, but just a giant, well, slum pretty much, called Cabrini Green. And what's crazy is that it was in a real location, and uh, the residents of there were just abandoned by the city of Chicago. So the film touches on that too as well. The film's issue that it highlights about gentrification is all about African Americans and how they're basically overlooked. In the film, they were overlooked by the city, and in real life, they were overlooked by the city of Chicago. So you can see that kind of racism that was embedded even through the film's lens and learning the real story behind that, I think, is a perfect representation of what critical race theory talks about. Just systematic racism and just singling out African Americans. But it has gotten better. There's a lot more black leads. Jordan Peele's films, Jordan Peele's horror films, they all have black leads. Nope, Get Out, Us, and the Candyman reboot. And they show a more accurate representation of the way African Americans really are. And I think the issue with portraying African Americans on screen is that a lot of the times the directors aren't people of color or even African Americans. That's changed. There's a lot more black directors now, but that was kind of an issue back then. Not always, but it got better throughout the years.